Do you want to get legs like these? Of course not. You want to get legs like these or legs like Mike Tyson. Well, on this video, we're going to give you some great exercises to not only develop your strength in your legs, which is very important for boxing, but also to get legs like Mike Tyson. So for this video, I've brought along strength and conditioning expert, my good friend BG Gaddour, who is also the former fitness director of Men's Health, and he's here to show us and get a physique like this. All right, let's get into it.
Tyson was one of the boxers with some of the best lower body development, period, particularly his quads. And when you looked at Tyson, the way he would fight, he could squat really low and deep while keeping upright. And he had so much punching power because his legs were behind every punch. So one of the things he used to do in training, Customato would have him finish a day with an hour on a stationary bike.
Wow.
Now you can't deny, you look at any cyclist, right? They have huge quads, but most of us are at the desk all day sitting. The last thing I would want someone to do for their conditioning is to go sit again for an hour. Right. So we're gonna modify this workout by doing continuous lunges, step-ups, or sled for 10 minutes pre or post-workout as a starter or finisher to get those leg benefits, but again, get on your feet. Right, for your conditioning.
Yeah, and we're talking about Mike Tyson's leg strength as well. We've seen him in fights squatting down, defending punches like we've never seen anyone else, never mind a heavyweight, do that. And also what he used his legs for as well was he used to like jump in and using his legs for explosiveness as well. So he's got that explosive power, and these exercises will really help with that as well.
100%. And again, you want to do your conditioning on your feet. In my mind, the best exercise for your legs, lunges and step-ups are undefeated because you're working each leg independently, right? So no imbalances between sides. And because you're working a leg at a time, lightweight feels heavy. So now your body weight feels much more challenging than it would a basic body weight squat. And ideally, what you would do is you do walking lunges. So in your gym, your dojo, whatever you're at, I do these outside. I built up to doing this for an hour straight.
You did?
I did, yeah. I had...
Look, that's why he's got them big legs on a minute.
Just so you know, because people have knee pain for this. By the time I was 22, I had 4 knee surgeries total from American football injuries. So I had to rebuild my legs from the ground up. I couldn't do a minute of lunges, but I committed to starting with a minute in pain. And then over the course of 6 to 12 months, I built up to an hour and my legs blew up big. I didn't touch any weights.
Wow.
Especially the legs, they have a lot of endurance fibers. So you can build incredible legs with just body weight. And again, the conditioning is off the charts. Like when you go continuous lunges for time, inhale down, exhale up, you get crazy cardiometabolic. My heart rate gets up to like 140 to 160 BPM.
Wow.
Now people say you're crazy. Why would you lunge this long? It's like people run for an hour. You go on a bike for an hour. So you can build up. You'd want to start with like 5 to 10 minutes though.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a good starter finisher to your workout.
Okay, great. Right, let's get into it. So first, step-ups. Let's talk about the step-ups.
So the step-up is sometimes the best place to start because it's easier on the knees for people. It's also a very functional movement. We're going upstairs and we're climbing things a lot during the day. It's also more glute hamstring dominant. So the step up by nature will hit more glute ham. The lunge is a little more quad dominant. So mixing between them both is ideal. Some days I'll do continuous step ups. Some days I'll do continuous lunges. So they kind of feed each other. Right. And it's just a great way to get some variety in your training.
Now, step ups, would you compare that to doing step workouts, running up the steps, walking up the steps?
It could be. I mean, it's the step up is like the strength version of running up the steps.
Yeah, that's more like the cardio version.
100%. Right, yeah. And one thing people overlook too with running. So one of my prerequisites, like if you can't lunge for 10 minutes straight, you should not run for 10 minutes straight. Because what is a lunge? A lunge is simply an extension of your gait. I'm just dropping down and it's more of a full range of motion strength exercise, but it's the same concept. Yeah. Opposite arm leg and I'm going forwards. So you know if you can lunge for 5 or 10 straight minutes, you have the strength and stability to run pain-free.
Right, wow, yeah, that's great. So moving on to the next one, you know, it's just the sled push. But this is hard, you need to obviously have somewhere to do this. We haven't got one in this gym here. Step up, you can do them anywhere. But let's talk about the benefits of the sled push and then any alternatives you've got for that.
100%. Well, the sled, what's so great about the sled, you have what's called eccentric stress in the body. You're just pushing forward. So you don't have to actually receive the load, which is more stressful to the joint. So it's something you can do, receive the load. That was for you, YouTube, okay? But it's also just like, it's loaded gait training. You know, it's a way to strengthen the whole system. It's great for anti-aging and longevity. It's easy to recover from. And in terms of boxing, right, you want to create some stress in your opponent. You want to chase your opponent down, applied pressure, being able to get in close and then push and use your legs to drive your opponent into the corner, into a really awkward, precarious position. There's a lot of benefits to that. Or if you're fighting a pressure fighter who wants to put his weight against you, if you try to push out with your arms, you're going to get fatigued fast. Yeah. So it teaches you how to use your legs to basically control your opponent with your body.
Yeah, that's great. Great benefits and great points that you made there, because a lot of people do that when they're inside of the clinch here. They will be pushing out with the arms. Now, if I push out with my arms, look, I'm wide open there, I'm wide open there. But what I like to do as well, I would do this and just push with my legs. So that's kind of what you're seeing with the sled. You're getting used to using your leg for that clinch work as well. I've done a full video on this talking about how to actually do that. But this is kind of the video to, you know, condition your legs to be able to do that if you're in with the stronger opponent as well.
100%. And first thing they're going to say is, I don't have a sled.
Yeah.
Well, here's the first modification. You can get a pair of fitness sliders.
Yeah, cheap, very cheap. You can get these.
Or go to Home Depot and just get furniture sliders.
Right,
That's all it is, okay? I know the exercise industry hates when you say that because it's like $6 versus 30, but you can get these pretty cheap on Amazon. And all we're gonna do here is, we're gonna put our hands here, and I'm gonna just drive it like a sled.
Yeah.
So I get, look at that, I get triple extension ankle, knee, hip. It's like doing single leg squats. And you wanna find out what's inside, Tony? Set the clock for 10 minutes and you just keep going. You can come to the knees and rest when you need to. And one of the most important things is a breathing strategy on this. Every 2 steps, inhale through the nose. The next 2 steps, exhale through the mouth. And you just keep going for time. And what's so great about this, like, it's one of the best breathing workouts ever, because when you're stabilizing and using your core muscles, these muscles are secondary breathing muscles. When they're stabilizing, they can't help you breathe.
Right.
So now your diaphragm right here has to do all of the work. So this will bring your breath power and stamina through the roof, which makes so you won't burn out in the ring. You want to try these?
Yeah.
It's a little harder on this floor because of the mat, but so try to stay low. There you go. And this is an incredible legs and lungs workout. You're also smoking your upper body. And then when you feel like I can't do any more, just come to the knees for about 5 to 10 seconds and keep going.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. And developing that leg strength.
In most sports, the low man wins, right?
Yeah.
So if you can train your mind and your body to handle getting low and staying low, you'll outlast your opponent. You'll also find yourself in better positions, better counter-punching positions, better defending positions. And if we don't want to do this and you want to do some partner training, you can just basically lean on your partner, and I'm going to resist him as he pushes me across. And then I go back the other way. And so we're working both ways. He's working to resist me. Now he's working to push me. So just continuously going back and forth for time. It's a great male bonding experience. Yeah. Make sure you wear some deodorant. But also a great way to just condition and get some partner training going. And you guys can really push each other.
Yeah, again, that's another exercise I used to do with my coach, the pushing, where it was more me pushing him, a big, strong guy. Used to just stand there, and I used to try and really use my legs and drive and push him. So, yeah, I love that. It's great. The Mike Tyson push-up. Now, you've just shown me this. This is completely different to any push-up I've ever done. And this is a push-up that's going to help your legs.
Basically, it's like adding a leg press to your push-up. So it becomes a full-body push-up. So we're talking more fat loss, more muscle gain, and more cardio-metabolic conditioning. So here's how he would do this. Now, ideally, you do it against a wall because you can actually like press. It's like being a sprinter out of the blocks. You can actually press off the wall and get more into it. But here's what it looks like. You're going to inhale through the nose, going back. Exhale forward to the bottom of a push-up, and then push right back.
Are you going for speed with them as well?
You can go for speed. Now, I'll show modification in a second, but ideally, the way you would treat this, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, 5 to 10 minutes or rounds of that. It'll melt your face off, Tony. And you're getting a lot of lower body development. And again, it gets you in that kind of low man position. So you can drive your opponent more and just get more leg power behind your punches. But really the conditioning aspect of this, the mental toughness part of this, and being able to use the wall. And you can do it without the wall. And again, look at how I'm not rounding my spine. I'm loading up like I'm doing a squat. Now I can modify this by just going to plank. I'm still really working my whole body, but obviously it's much more challenging when I add the push-up component to it.
That's great. And this is something that you learned this from Mike Tyson, or did you just...
You know, it's funny. So I call these blast-off push-ups. I've been doing these for years. I share it, and every once in a while someone says, those are Tyson push-ups. And I'm like, well, I never heard of that before, but apparently he would do these in training. Right. And they were a big part of his conditioning. And again, full body explosive power. That dude was jacked from head to toe. Yeah. So full body movements are great for accomplishing that type of look and overall conditioning.
Right, great. I've stopped the video. I'm going to take all my clothes off and go into my ice bath right now and tell you about the sponsor of today's video. Oh, it's so cold. And guys, you don't have to get into a 37-degree ice bath to recover. You can go to onnit.com/boxing and get 10% off their entire website. They've got so many different great supplements that will help you recover. They'll help you perform better. They'll help you for your post-workouts, pre-workouts. And this company is legit. There's so much BS out there when it comes to supplements. I would never recommend any BS. I love Onnit. It's recommended by the likes of Joe Rogan, Brendan Schaub, Cowboy Cerrone. So many other great people love a great company like Onnit, like I do. Go to onnit.com/boxing. I can't speak because I'm so cold, and get 10% off their entire website. You will absolutely love it. I guarantee you that. The Mike Tyson squat. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, he was using squats for defense. Let's talk about this, mate. These are going to be great.
I mean, really, we talked about this too before filming. The biggest mistake, and I made this early on when you started to teach me boxing, is people will try to duck a punch and they'll bend at the hips. Right. And then what happens, right? I can't throw punches from here. I've seen you talk about this all the time.
Yeah, this is the worst position you can be in. Not using your legs when you're rolling and slipping.
And a big part of the reason that happens is because people have very tight hips and ankles, or they don't have the quad strength to be able to, like Mike Tyson, squat low while keeping upright. So we're gonna do a couple things to help you learn how to do it. One thing I call boxer squats. And all it's doing is basically just mimicking the duck in the roll, right, to avoid punches or set up a counter punch. And you just work for time, and you can start with your body weight, and I'll show the modification and the progression. Squatting down and then pivoting the feet and rotating the hips and coming through. And just working this, and you can even get like one of those ropes or lines.
Yeah.
You can kind of come underneath. So 90 seconds per side. Just do 3-minute rounds of this and just switch stances. Such a great way to develop the leg strength. Again, this is gonna help you on defense and counter punching. Now, a lot of people that are newer to boxing, PVC pipe or stick, and this just helps you get the ability to assist with your upper body. And even, I'll even do this right now to warm up. I'll warm up with the stick and then I'll go body weight. Ideally, progress. Kettlebell, dumbbell works too, but a little bit med ball for this. So you load up, and now I'm building strength. And it's really productive to that shoulder. See that shoulder roll?
Yeah.
That just like you would in setting up your punches. So this is just such an awesome way to build the leg strength. And again, when I hold a weight in front of my body like this, it gives me a counterbalance to sit and squat deeper. So try adding that and just see how much easier it is for you to stay upright.
I notice what you're doing there, which is great. You're transferring the weight to the front and squatting down to the back, right?
Yes.
That's right.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the boxer squat, start working that in 90 seconds per side, 3 minutes of time under tension on your legs. You'll never run out of gas with your legs, like heavy legs, right? It can catch you up in later rounds. Yeah. You don't want that. This will condition your legs to prevent that. The next thing are what's called heels elevated or slant board squats. Now these are just some simple slant boards I got on Amazon. You can take a couple weight plates or even books to elevate your heels. But what it's doing is it's helping you get more comfortable squatting on your toes. If you try to do that right now, a lot of people that have knee pain are deconditioned, and you try to be like Tyson where he was, jumping rope and getting all the way down to the floor, or even just toe squats like this, you're gonna hurt your knees. It's a lot of knee stress. But what this does, it gives you a little extra stability to just get used to, and it pushes, see where it pushes the weight?
Yeah.
Onto my forefoot and my toes.
Right.
So this will help you with all your boxing stance, positioning work, bounce, footwork, and I'm just gonna work on slow inhale through the nose down, exhale up. You don't have to go ass to grass or all the way down. Go as low as you can while keeping that trunk upright and being pain-free. Eventually I can add in, a ball here to increase the resistance and demand. I like to pause at the bottom too for a couple seconds. Don't go, it's better to go slow. Slow is fast, right? You get it slow first, adding speed's a piece of cake. This will help fortify your knees and really build up the strength. And other thing you can do too is, I can even position these into my stance.
Oh, nice.
So now I'm actually in my boxing stance. I'm not gonna roll, but I can just work on that position. What you feel is, because it pushes more weight onto your toes, and you look at Mike Tyson, his incredible lower quad development, the teardrop muscle, what's called your vastus medialis obliquus muscle, so important for knee health. Actually, when your knee swells, this is the first muscle that shuts down. Wow. So people that have knee pain tend to have very underdeveloped lower quads, and they're very strong out here. It ends up taking that kneecap and pulling it out to the side and causing a bunch of patellofemoral or knee issues. So this is great. And again, I can switch to my southpaw, just getting comfortable with those toe squats. And it helps you, in the meantime, build up the strength and kind of be able to get lower because of the elevation of the heel.
Yeah, that's great. And I used to use the weighted plates underneath when I ever do squats. And it really helped me with the balance as well.
100%.
You know, so it's better for balance if you feel like unstable when you're squatting or when you're doing this.
100%. It puts you in a kind of just more comfortable position. The other aspect is too, we've got to mobilize the hips and ankles. This is the final part. So one thing we can do here is we can take those same slant boards or step, and I'm just going to work on my calf and ankle flexibility. So leg straight will be more of a calf stretch, and then if I want to work on bending the knee more, I get more lower calf Achilles and I get more ankle mobility. And I'm just working for 2 to 5 minutes on each side. I can step through here in. You know, one of the big things that can happen if you're over 30 is an Achilles rupture. Just by bouncing around if you're too stiff and tight back there. So by stepping through, I really stretch the Achilles and the calf muscle. And then again, working on getting more bends in the ankle. Because again, if you can't bend at the ankle and you try to squat deep, first thing you have to do is bend forward.
Right.
So it's going to help you mobilize that. The last thing is, and we were even doing this before we started filming, is just a basic kind of frogger or quadruped position. And you just work on rocking back and forth to get more motion through the hip, right? So if you can't flex at the hip, you're going to be rounding your spine or dumping forward on a squat.
Right.
Big things to work on here, the boxer squat. We're going to do some heels elevated squatting to build up some confidence and get better at squatting on our toes with a little bit of stability. And then we got to mobilize the ankles and the hips so we can squat deep and stay upright, just like Tyson.
So now we've just showed you how to get leg strength like Mike Tyson. Well, if you want to look like Mike Tyson by doing some upper body strength, click here and watch this video next.